Hello and good evening. Thank you so much for joining me on Solomon's Temple. It's evening over here. So normally when I say good evening, I try to think about the people that are in the US. It's not evening for them, or people who are in Canada or down. I hope you can hear me. Or people who are also down in, across some of the African continent. Sometimes we have like maybe 4 hours differences. But thank you so much for joining me. And this is Solomon's Temple. If you're joining this for the first time, my name is Solomon Izang Ashams. I'm straight out of Johannesburg, South Africa, to you. On Solomon's Temple, we get to look at issues that affect our faith, affect what we believe in, biblical issues. And we say, Lord, what are you saying? And we all know that the church is not a perfect place. Actually, somebody said, the church is the most imperfect place to go to. It's a bunch of imperfect people. Because until you declare that you're imperfect, there's no way you can allow the Spirit of God to come through you and be able to bring about change. And that way, you're going to be able to grow, and God is going to be able to make you just like Jesus. And that's what we want. We know we are flawed and we make mistakes and all that. And when we discuss anything, when it comes to our imperfection, we do not look to castigate. We do not look to bring down anyone. We try to make sure that we edify. And even people who are unrepentant, we still love them. Even people who we know they're using scriptures to abuse other people and to create different sort of like theology that is unbiblical, we still love them. There's no way we can hate them. We can only continue to pray for them to repent. And in what I do, like I said, there's always going to be backlash from leaders or pastors or charlatans or magicians who are not happy about what I do. And I've been on a campaign, like I'm going to court. I'm actually going to court on Monday to deal with an issue, with a pastor here in South Africa, and I have legal costs, which a lot of you guys have really helped me to raise some money. We've raised half of the money. I've been doing this for 10 years, and I've been using my money, my family's money, with my wife. I've received death threats. We have to move house. I have 2 kids. My wife was pregnant. She was threatened. The police was used to threaten her. So I know what I've been through in the last 10 years. I'm not just doing this because it's a profession or whatever. It's far from it. And I've been doing it with my own money, and all that. And I really want to thank you guys. Some of you guys, really helped out. Some of you guys sending some money here in South Africa into this bank account, NL Asham Net Bank account. And I appreciate it. And some of you guys also who are overseas, quite a lot of you guys, send in some money through PayPal at solomontalks@yahoo.com. And I really appreciate it, what you guys have given. And, the truth can never be strangled. The truth cannot be suffocated. Even if, Jesus was killed and crucified for the truth, but that never really stopped the truth. It only escalated the truth. So we have to understand that's why I tell people, this is a fight. And you're not fighting people? No. It's not about people. We must not look at people. We must look beyond people and know that there is a spirit called the spirit of darkness that is operating in the opposite side of the spirit of light. So if any of you guys would want to contribute, I would appreciate it. If you want to help in whichever way you can help, I will appreciate it. Like I said, I've been doing this for 10 years. For people, some of you guys have only been following me a couple of months ago, last year, 2 years ago. So you don't know the genesis. Even when I was running a magazine here in South Africa called Parable Magazine, which I ran for about 8 years, going on TV, going on radio, even talking about these issues, supporting victims, going to court on behalf of victims. And those are the kind of things that we do. And also when we have any sort of problem amongst us, also as a community, it's always good to talk about it. The Bible is very clear about that. Sometimes I talk to pastors or prophets individually who have made mistakes, and I never bring it here to discuss it, believe it or not. And sometimes I have to bring it here because other people's life is affected. So, but my intention is always to try to say, how do we mediate? Now, 2 nights ago, a video was released by Mike Davids, Pastor Mike Davids, who is based in Nigeria. Before then, I had spoken to him last year. He reached out to me through a gentleman and spoke to me and told me about his side of the story, what had happened in his marriage with his wife, Faith Davids, and how Apostle Johnson Suleman was involved, and so many other things. Now, 2 nights ago, he made a video and he shared the video with me, which I came here and said, look, this gentleman who was a pastor that served with Omega Faith, Omega Fire, this is what he had said happened to him. And we analyzed it. And last night, I brought him here also so he could tell us more about the allegations or the accusations that he has made against his wife and also against Apostle Johnson Suleman. I'm not a judge, so I'm never going to come to a conclusion. I might be tilted towards, well, this person I feel this might be the truth or whatever. Now, so a lot of people felt because I interviewed him first, so I'm on his side. Technically, you draw that kind of conclusion. If I was on his side, then I'm not going to want to hear the other side of the story. And for us to be able to understand that, we have to hear the other side of the story. And that's why tonight I have Faith Davids, who is the same person that he has spoken about. So I would want to bring in Faith into the studio just so we can talk about it. I hope she's there. Hello, Faith, are you there? Hello? Just lost her there. Are you there, Faith? I can see your eye moving. Maybe you need to just you need to log in again. Let's see how we can get her to log in again. Please, if you can log in again, Faith, we'll really appreciate it so we can have you here. Now, it is always important for us to get to hear, the other side of the story. Somebody is asking, was the PayPal account, PayPal, whatever again. Here you go. Whilst we wait for Pastor Faith to log in. Send her a message. Not sure. I just sent her a message now, so just gonna wait to hear from her. It seems like her phone went off or something. I could see that she has not received the message. Okay, she's received the message. Is she? No, she hasn't received the message. Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure we get across to her. As soon as I think she's ready now. So I'm sure she's gonna log in right now. But it is always important for us to get to, like I said, we'll be talking to Pastor Faith Ideko. Okay, she's trying to log back in. We're gonna be, so you guys need to be a bit patient with us whilst we wait for her to come in and to basically give us her side of the story. I wouldn't want to begin to think of what she's gonna say. Obviously, Mike has given us his own side of the story, and we've all listened to him, and that's his side of the story. So it would be good to hear her side of the story, and that way we can also, some of you guys would decide to draw your conclusion. Some of you guys would, say, okay, I'm going this side, I'm going that side. But the most important thing for us to do is to ask the question, God, what do you want me to draw from this situation? Not because I love this person or I love that person, or not because I believe this person or believe that person, but what is the truth? So I can pray for them, so I can support them, so I can learn also for myself. So there are different truths to pull out of it. There are different ways to go around it. So maybe Faith, if she could try, maybe you could try another phone also, actually. If you try, and maybe you can try another phone. Okay, she's coming back in now. I can see her. I can see her coming back in. As soon as she's settled, I'm going to bring her in. All right, we're ready now. Hello, it's good to have you back.
Thank you.
Yes. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time. And I must let people know, she reached out to me, just so we'll be clear. She reached out to me, and for somebody to reach out to you, it means they're willing to share. So I want everyone watching to understand that. I got a phone call from her, and she said, look, Solomon, I want to give my side of the story. And that's what we're looking, that's what it should be about. That's what we should try as much as possible to do. And we're not here trying to create some sort of judgment for anyone. No. We're not here trying to create judgment for over Faith. No, that's not what we're trying to do. But Faith, there are accusations and allegations against you from your, should I call him your ex-husband or from your husband? Because based on the two certification that you got, first, you said he said he got his dowry back, but at the same, his bride price the back, but at the same time, there was a legal certification for your marriage or so. But anyway, you're going to tell us more about it and your own version of the truth. How have you been feeling this last 48 hours about this issue? Are you there? Yeah, there's quite a bit of your internet is just a bit slow. Can you hear me?
Go idea.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Faith? Yeah, definitely the internet. That's what it does. Internet is not so strong there. So we have to look for a way to be able to do this, because it's obvious that your internet is not so strong. Faith, if you're listening to me, can I ask you to then... Oh, here we go. She's gone out. So she's going to try to come in again. So we're gonna just be a bit patient, so we can get her to come in again. And as soon as she's in, I'm gonna let her. Okay, she's gradually trying to make her way back. Oh. Gosh, she's gone again. So, guys, you need to be patient, yeah? I think where she's at, there's a bit of a problem with the internet there. So we're just gonna be a bit patient with her. And if we cannot do it with the video, then I would probably have to ask, have to probably just call her, and then we can do it via telephone. Maybe that would be the best way. If we experience any other problem, if she gets in here one last time and we experience any problem, I would just ask for us to do it telephonically, where we're just gonna have just audio and no video. Or maybe she could move her location, I guess. That way the internet is going to be a bit stronger, and we're going to be able to have her. But we pray that it's going to work. We pray that it's going to work. We pray that it's going to work. Yeah, you see, her internet is still, her network is still this way. Can you hear me, Faith? Can you hear me? Still? Okay. Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. This is a good idea, coming into the car.
Yeah, I had to. I had to.
Yes. So I was just trying to find out how you've been doing the last 48 hours with the allegations and accusation and the attention that this issue has brought upon you?
You have no idea. You have no idea how I've been mentally, psychologically. Uh, well, I'm fine.
We're losing you a little bit there. Is your audio is missing?
Not been easy, but I'm fine. It's not been quite easy. I need to be strong for my kids. I need to be mentally stable for them, so that I can really attend to them well.
Okay.
Just
Seems like we're gonna, yeah. Okay. Now let's look at, your husband. You guys were married for over 10 years. How was life like, between you and your husband in the course of you guys being married and staying in the same house? And also, even before you got married, you guys were friends, I think for quite a number of years. How was that like, the relationship between the two of you?
Open the gate for me.
Okay. I think she's trying to find a suitable place that we could get better internet. So let's give her a bit of time. Let's give her a bit of time just so that she can get better. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Can I get that question again?
Yes. Can you? Yeah. Okay. So we take some time. We'll take some time to do that. That's what we're trying to get. Let's see how that goes. Are you there, Faith?
Okay. Yes, so.
Okay.
Okay, so I think I'm closer to a mast.
Okay. That's good. Sorry, we have to get you out of the house. But take your time. Take your time. Go closer to a mask. I want you to concentrate instead of driving. So take your time whilst you're doing that.
good. I'm good. I'm okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I go back to the last question that I tried to ask you. You've known your husband Mike for quite a long time, pre-marriage and also during marriage. How was the relationship like between the two of you? What really attracted you guys to each other, and what sort of relationship? What sort of a boyfriend was he, and what sort of a husband was he?
Oh, when we met, we were friends. He had his own, he had weaknesses, but at that time we met at the very, I was young, he was young. Um, he was my first love, so obviously I don't think I knew what love was. The first person I felt um, butterfly in my belly for and goosebumps for. So the very first person ever, and I was very, very pretty, very young, very young. So we went along, even though he had so much weaknesses, which I thought I could cope with. You know, I thought I could cope with it, in as much as this is the first person I ever met, and I didn't want to start jumping from one person to another. I guess I don't want to use the word I was naive anyway, but he had weaknesses. Um, whatever he was in marriage, whatever weaknesses or issues we had being married, we had it when we were courting. So they weren't issues that just generated in marriage. No, we had so much issues when we were courting, so much issues
What
when
are
we were
some of
courting.
those issues?
Issues that has to do with women, ladies, anger and women. Yeah, I remember there were times, even when we were courting, there were times he would come to me and tell me, "You're not the one I'm getting married to anymore. I want to marry this other person." And I was like, okay. 5, 6 months later, he will come back and say he's sorry. He didn't think it through. He didn't know what was in his head. I would say, okay. So not once, not twice, not 3 times. That was how we rolled, you know, even the anger aspect of it. But I thought I could cope with it. I thought I could, over time, it would fizzle out. Like I said, it was the very first man I met. I felt um, feelings for. And so I was young, and yeah. But
What
everything,
was
if
the
every issue we had,
Yes.
there were issues that started when we caught it. We had so many issues, so much issues. The wedding was almost cancelled. Um, the wedding wouldn't have taken place. We had issues with women. A few weeks to the wedding, something came up. I didn't want to do it anymore. But I looked at what people would say. The cards were already out. The some of the stuffs were already bought. My wedding gown was already paid for. Um, so these were things I thought about, and I just didn't want to face that disgrace. So I felt I could work it out. I had to go ahead to do the marriage. So he Mike, um, didn't. One of the reasons why, even after the separation, I never spoke to anyone and I went solo was because I blamed myself for a long time. Whatever happened in our marriage, I blamed myself for a long time. I held him no grudge whatsoever. I blamed myself because whatever this guy was, he didn't pretend. Everything you see Mike do is him. He didn't pretend. So I should blame myself. I had a choice to make and I made it. So I had him not to I didn't have at any point blame him for whatever he did or whatever transpired. But I want to establish that we didn't just have issues in marriage. We had those issues, and those who knew us then actually knew we had issues even before the wedding and before we got married.
And what made you stay? You know those issues. Didn't you seek for advice from family members, older women, church leaders, knowing that you've seen this issue? Because obviously, quite a lot of times when you were courting, a lot of the issues you face while courting, you're gonna face it while marriage. Except there is obviously God can change people. Why didn't you decide to like, hey, this is it, I'm not sure?
Yeah, because like I said, it was my first love. I thought it's not of a big deal. He would change. Things would change. And so even when we got married, I'm not used to talking to people about my issues. I'm not used to. And that's why even when we finally broke apart, it took my family time to come to terms with we don't understand because I never talked with any of them. As a matter of fact, when I got married, I cut off. That's how much I was committed. I cut off from my brothers. They can come up and say so. My other brother in Lagos, I met him for the first time last I think was that last month when I went to preach in Lagos. I met him for the first time after 15 years. That's my other brother. So when I got married, I obviously concentrated on my husband, and I'm
Was
not
that your
used to.
choice? Was that your choice, or was it because of him wanting you to disconnect from family? Because you made mention of one of the issues that you guys faced before marriage and during marriage is his area
Yeah,
of anger. Was that
yeah.
something that he motivated you to do, or you just decided to cut off from your family because you wanted to build your own family?
Yeah, directly he didn't. I would say directly and indirectly. Not directly in the sense that he never said to me, "Don't communicate with your family," but indirectly is I never wanted issues. I never wanted those anger issues to come up. I never wanted issues. I just wanted to concentrate on my marriage, and I didn't want anything that will offend them. Or you're taking advice from this that your family is controlling you. I just didn't want anything that would um, get him upset, So I concentrated, and I'm not used to talking to people. I'm not used to um, talking. Before you see me talk, I would have had it up to here. Yeah, I can swallow things and bear before I talk. I'm not used to, oh, look at what is happening now. Oh, no. So I never saw it fit to discuss with anybody. And I just felt the strength of an African woman, no matter what it is. I always thought he would change. I always thought he would change. Even though there were some of those issues I told my mom witnessed a few of them. And you know, so I never
Hmm.
spoke to anybody.
Hmm.
I never the only person I do speak once in a while was Apostle Johnson Suleman. But at some point I stopped talking to him because he will never, even though I talk from now to next year, even when he's saying what I'm saying like this, he will always take sides with Mike.
Hmm.
He will always take sides with
Hmm.
Mike. So at some point I felt calm. There's no need. There's just no point telling this man because at the end of the day, when I'm trying to explain to you, Daddy, to seen this thing, you know, he will never take my side. Maybe behind me they talk, I don't know, but when I'm there, he will never take my side. So
Hmm.
he's the only person I know. Um, at some point I talked to. Then my mom, I talked to my mom. I don't have friends. He can testify. I don't keep friends. I don't have friends. I've been like that from secondary school days. Oh.
Now, one of the accusations that he gave earlier on in your relationship was when you guys, I think, before you got married, a group of you were praying or doing ministry with Apostle Johnson Suleman. I think it was somewhere in Auchi also, where he allegedly said that you were there late always and not really sure what's happening. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember. I remember he said that I used to pass the night. I think he mentioned Benin, which I don't know what he's talking about because I stayed in Ekpoma when I was single.
Okay.
Never stayed in Benin. I always stayed in Benin when I got married. So I'm not going to put his words to him. Let me just clear my own side. I knew about Johnson Suleman at a very young age. At that time, I was already doing ministry. I'm sorry, I left the house. I would have showed you. I can send it to you later. I would have showed you a little handbill. So you see how small I was. I think I was 13, 14. That handbill is still with me. I had a fellowship. I had a hall I built. I was doing fellowship in at Ekpoma. So been doing ministry since when I was 13. That was when I got to know Apostle Johnson Suleman. So at that time, Omega had not even started. Omega had not started. Yes, so he comes to the town, he comes to Ekpoma to preach, to do ministry, and I do the running arounds. I was his daughter, and I'm still his daughter. I do the running arounds. Yes, sometimes I have to go get food. Sometimes I have to go get do some logistics. I was like, I don't want to use the word protocol. No, I used to go there, and moreover, he wasn't the only person. Daddy has never traveled alone. He never came to Ekboma alone. Not for once did he come for any program in Ekboma alone. There were pastors with him. And if you study him well, you know that even till today, he still travels with people. So I won't say I wasn't around. I was always around. I did most of the logistics in Ekboma. So his words, he said I used to go to the hotel, but he never thought about it because I was still a virgin. I told him thank you for not extracting that, for not taking that out. So, which establishes that my going around Apostle Johnson Suleman at that time wasn't for any kind of sin or something like that.
So just to confirm
So
that
yeah,
you got married,
going
you got
around.
married as a you got married as a virgin.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Just to confirm that. And who introduced did he introduce you to Apostle Suleiman, or how did you guys
No, no,
what was
no,
the
no.
relationship like? You met him separately and
It,
Mike met him
I met
separately?
I met him separately. I met Apostle
Mm-hmm.
Johnson Suleman before Mike met him because at that time in Ekboma, I was already, like I said, I was doing logistics. There was some of those programs I accompanied him to, alongside the number two man in the ministry, Reverend Kingsley. So my being around wasn't something hidden, you know. So I introduced Mike to Apostle Suleiman. I told Daddy, I said, I found a man, I want to get married. Somebody said he loves me. And he laughed. He laughed and said, what do you know about love? And he now said, okay, we are bringing. So when I brought him, he said, is he the one? I first went to tell him. I said, he's around. He said, is he the one? I said, yes. So they talked. And that was it. I never knew that. I never knew that perhaps he had been trying to get before then. He had been trying to get across to Apostle Suleiman too. he had been trying to get close to him, and I don't know if it clicked, but I doubt. If it clicked, I would not have done that introduction. It would have been, oh, I know him, I know him, you know. So he did not introduce me to Apostle Suleman. And my mom can confirm that. I met him way before he even got into Omega. In fact, before Omega even started.
Hmm. Hmm. So when you guys were now part of Omega, serving under Apostle Suleman, were both of you guys ordained as pastors? How did it work? So you guys, when you guys were in Asaba, I remember one time you were in Asaba in the south part of Nigeria, you guys were pastoring together. So you were not just a wife who has her own job, but you were also a co-pastor, isn't it?
Yes. No, to clear it straight, when he pastored in Asaba, that was when we got married.
Okay.
Yes, so I was ordained separately. He was ordained separately. He wasn't ordained, and okay, she's a pastor's wife. No, I was ordained. I have my ordination certificate. You understand?
Yeah.
So he started pastoring. Yeah, he started pastoring. I was ordained separately. I wasn't operating. Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The video freezed.
Okay, I can hear you. I can see you.
Yeah. I wasn't ordained. It's not like for me to use the word, I wasn't using his certificate. Yeah, so I was ordained separately. We're giving separate certificates as Omega pastors. Separate.
Okay. Yeah. Because if I remember very well, and I need to try to establish that, because from if I remember what Mike said very well, he was the introduction to Johnson Suleman. He introduced you to him.
Not at all.
If I remember that very well. And I'm also trying to establish the fact that you are an ordained pastor, because
yes, I am.
Today you are pastoring a church in Abuja. Yes. And for a lot of people, that didn't sit well with them.
Yeah.
Or people are asking questions.
Yes, I know.
Maybe because they didn't realize that you yourself was ordained, and you yourself, that is your calling, and you don't have any other thing that you do, So I'm trying to establish that and trying to make sure that we take what you say. Yeah, we take what you say and take what Mike say and then put it together for the people who are watching. But we have a situation. I mean, you guys moved from Asaba to, is it Benin?
From Asaba, we went to Benin.
Okay. And then from Benin, you moved to Kano?
We moved to Osogbo.
Osogbo, okay. All right. Yeah. So moving through all these, so moving through all these cities and all these different locations, as a married couple, what were some of the challenges for you, that was happening that you could see, look, from our days of getting married, from our days of courting, now I could see it showing itself? Because, I mean, we're talking about leading a congregation. As a pastor, as leaders, it's totally a different dynamic. There are going to be challenges. How are you? But for Mike himself, and even for you, what did you do right or wrong? What did he do right or wrong? What would you say? These are certain things that he started doing or started happening that actually really affected our relationship, our marriage.
Yeah, he when he started pastoring, like I said, when we got married, he was still in Asaba. And then we moved to, immediately we got married, he was already transferred. In fact, at the time, the wedding process, I said just now that few weeks to the wedding, something happened. That
Yes.
almost made me say I wasn't going ahead anymore. I'm scared and I don't know if this is going to work. But because most of the things were already on ground, the wedding gown was there, people have gathered. What do I tell them? You know, it was something that happened in Asaba that he was transferred for. Because what that Papa does is
What
because I
what
feel
what happened in
it
Asaba?
had
What happened?
issues to do with women. Yes, it has issues to do with sleeping with his members, the ladies. So the thing escalated, caused problems between two girls. And so Daddy has always had his back. Yeah, it was at some point when the whole thing got out of hand. So Papa was feeling, is it because I'm siding you? I don't understand. He has always had his back. So he had to transfer him away from that mess to Benin. And for the fact that we just got married, so he had to do that for us. Got to Benin. So when that happened in Asaba, he gave me his own bitter side because that's him. When he does anything wrong, he will never accept that I'm wrong. He will always push it back to you to the defensive, and you will end up begging. That's the truth. Why did you do this? I'm not happy with this thing here. And so is that why you should ask me questions? Sometimes we won't ask you, how did you not find out? Why did you not listen? This thing I'm seeing like this, so we got to Benin and we started. That was when I got pregnant and I had my first child. But I was swapping between Benin and school. I was still in school. I married in 200 level.
So you were in university, second year when you got
Yes,
married.
yes. I was in
Okay.
second year. So I had to, and that time because of ASU strike, we were off and on. So sometimes I'll have to, when the school resumes, I'll go back. I was doing part time. So
Hmm.
Benin again, he had the same issue. The
So
same
the
issue.
same issue of women in
Yes.
Asaba. There was a question of women. So not just one woman, but
Not one.
multi-dating women, and there
Yeah.
was some sort of problem between the women. He was moved to
Yeah.
Benin,
To Benin.
and the same problem again.
The same issues. He gets angry, he shouts at members, he's aggressive. And people who come to church don't want that. They want a place where they can be cared for. So these two issues were the main issues he has always had in all his branches. Anger issues and women issues. There were times, even in Kano, there were times he had to stand people outside who came late. We can investigate it.
Mm.
Members who came late stood outside, and leaders who came late, including myself, who is supposed to be the co-pastor or the pastor's wife, I paid a fine of 1,000 naira.
So you go to church late, you pay a fine.
There was a day I paid a fine. I'm saying this because there are members in that church, so they won't
Without
cover
church
this.
policy, without church
It's
policy
not it's
generally
not a
across the
church.
board for Omega Fire.
God forbid, it's not a church policy. It can never be a church policy. That is what you see, anger. When he does these things, when he's done with it, he begins, I don't know, to now realize that, oh, this thing I did, I wasn't supposed to do it that way. So these were the two issues he always had in all his branches: women, anger, anger. And that day I paid that fine. I did pay it secretly. It was not a secret thing. He picked the microphone, and I remember the reason I came late to church was because my dress got torn. I'd already gotten halfway. I just said, let me touch. Don't know what took my hand. I thought it was a zip. And I noticed that it was torn. I called him and I said, please, because I had my own car then. I called him. I'm on live video, sorry. Sorry about that. Somebody's asking
Yeah,
for
that's fine.
direction. I called him and I said, please, I have to change my clothes. He's violent. See, this violence, this thing is not secret. If you investigate and have to ask
Faith,
members of people,
Faith,
yeah,
just pause it right there. Let me ask
yeah,
you a question.
Go ahead.
Even before I ask you the question, for the benefit of our audience, there's a lot of audience from Southern Africa and up in Europe and America who are watching. For some of you guys would not understand some of the locations from Kano to Asaba to Auchi. Those are just cities around that they were moving from. So I'm trying to get you a breakdown. And there are certain maybe names or places that you will not understand. So please, you have to bear with us. But you are saying all this, right? Anger. Pastor Faith, has Mike ever beaten you up, physically abused you?
Yes.
Because he told me he has never abused you. He respects women. Has he taken his hand, his feet, kick you and hit you?
Yes, he has. He has. He has done it. And Mike knows it.
Was that consistent? Or he did it just once and apologized and he stops there?
Okay, not once, not twice. I can say up to like 5 times. And at some point, when he wants to, I devised a strategy. When he wants to, when I realize that there's a way I study and I know, no, this thing, when it starts. Sometimes I have to run away from the house. Sometimes I can just decide to drive out. As I'm parked like this now, just park on the road for like 10 minutes. Then I'll go back to the house. You know, I had a way of managing it anyway. I had a way. So at some point, it wasn't really consistent anymore because I had a way of managing it. You hear me?
Now, he is of the view that you are under the spell and you've been hypnotized by Johnson Suleman. It's a serious matter. Please do not laugh. It's a because he feels that you've been hypnotized. Because we actually see those kind of things, you know, in churches sometimes. I mean, for me, someone like TB Joshua, he uses that quite a lot. So I do not agree with the way he does things. But are you a victim of hypnoticism?
Do I look
where
like
you're
one?
being controlled by like a robot?
Do I look like one? Do I look like, am I talking like someone who is talking like a robot? Like,
I don't know. You know, I've never met you. We just met today.
But I'm not talking like someone who is, when you see someone who is hypnotized, you know. Okay, why would I be hypnotized? I knew this man even before even before we got married. Hello? I stayed in his house at some point. I wasn't hypnotized. I still married you. I just feel that statement he made, he had to do that mind game. He had to do that mind game. And honestly, it's okay. I feel it's a mind game. If he didn't say that, he knew I was going to, whatever he's saying, they certainly are not true. So he needed to put something out there so that even when I start talking, he knows. And that's why Mike will say, I know my wife is intelligent, but don't worry, she's not normal right now. She's hypnotized. Why would you say that? Why not say what you want to say and leave it? Let the people decide if, oh, this woman is talking like someone not in her right senses. Why would you tell them that? Why would you tell them, hello?
I'm here. I'm with you. Just go on.
Yeah. Why would you tell them that I know my wife is intelligent, she's good, but she's all she's saying right now, she's not in her right senses. Come on. So I think that's a mind game. But
you see, a lot of people would say, look, people that are being hypnotized actually will tell you they're not hypnotized because they probably don't even know themselves. You know,
I don't see any reason.
So there's just quite a lot of.
There's no reason for hypnosis.
Well, it doesn't show on your face. It will never show on your face.
I know, but there's no basis for to be hypnotized. There's no basis. No basis at all. You worked out on the marriage. The ministry never contributed to the marriage breakdown. When you were sent out of Omega Fire Ministries, I stuck with you. I was there with you. I left with you. We didn't attend church for months. I was angry with Apostle John. I was angry with Daddy. I was angry with Mommy. I stayed with you. In the midst of all these things, I stayed. So it had nothing. There's no basis for hypnosis. There's no ground for it. There's no reason why that should come in. It's out of place. When he was sent out of the ministry, I had my own grudges too. And why was I not happy? I felt that, oh, yeah, I know my husband is guilty. I know, yeah, he's done this, he's done that. But there was something that he did I wasn't happy. I felt, oh, you should have, instead of calling him in public and pastors were there, I know you're angry and pastors were there, you should have just because of me, not shout on him in public. No, that was I protected him. Not shout on him in public. Should have just, at least because of faith. But Apostle Johnson Suleman doesn't, when he wants to address an issue, he addresses it. He doesn't look at your face, he addresses it. So that was my pain. I stuck with him. He can confirm that. So the period with which he was sent out of the ministry and when the marriage crashed took Abba. So there's no basis for hypnosis. There's absolutely no basis for it. I understand what you're saying. People who are controlled don't know. Yeah, I'm a pastor, so I know what you're saying. But right now, there's no basis for it. Why would I be hypnotized? For what to happen? When you were sent out of the ministry, I didn't say, no, I'm not going with you or I'm staying. Do you understand? I didn't say, I must stay in this church, by fire, by force. I must be here. I left with you. The people in Kano knows I left with you. I joined you. We talked together. 6 months plus, we didn't go to church, my kids, and we were all at home. So in the midst of all of that, we started having issues. So the breakdown of the marriage had nothing to do. That was actually why. Because there was a time within this period, Apostle's wife tried to reach out to me when he was sent out, tried to reach out to me. I hung the phone on her. I picked the phone and heard her voice and cut it. I did that because I stuck with my husband. I stayed with him. That was why when he walked out, I found it so difficult to cover my face in shame. With all I did, I didn't reach out to my father. I didn't reach out. My spiritual mom called me. I disrespected her. I hung up the phone because I stayed with my husband. And now the man has walked out of my life. Okay, now you're not. Where do I want to start? And I remember pastors told me, Pastor Samokwe came into the issue, Tenebe. So few persons told me, see, when something hits a woman, she runs back to her family. That's the truth. No matter what happens, you go back to your family for your sanity. You go back to your family. And like I said, Papa was like is like a biological father to me.
Why do you call him Papa? Why do you call him Papa, Daddy?
I call him Papa. I call him Daddy.
Why do you think he deserved that?
Oh my God, he does. He does.
Why?
He took me in when my father. I lost my dad at a very tender age. Actually, I met him when I had academic issues. In the midst of all of that, he took me in. He did so much. I was pastoring, I had a fellowship. He tutored me. I know most times I will write magazines. He edited some of my magazines. At some point, I went to look for a job in NTA. It was Daddy who wrote my first application letter. I didn't know any of that.
So your relationship with him supersedes church and ministry?
Yes, supersedes it. He wrote my application letter. This is how you're going to do it. This is how you're going to write it. So this is not, it supersedes. It's like a lot of to me. It's like
a lot of people have question marks around, Johnson Suleman. Is he really a man of God, a true man of God, Sister Faith?
Mr. Solomon, Apostle Johnson Suleman is a true man of God. I don't care what people gather say. I don't care what any other person says. He is a true man of God. 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 The truth of the matter is that a prophet is not honored in his own town. Even Jesus had to experience some of these things. There were certain things Jesus did. There were certain times they called Jesus a demon. Yeah, there were certain times they called Jesus, said he uses the power of Beelzebub. So if Jesus was alive, just imagine that scenario when it happened. If Jesus wasn't the Son of God, just imagine it when he does some things and people say, no, no, this must be Satan. So I don't care what people say. I stayed with him. I lived in his house. All that man does is pray. So I don't care what people say. I'm one person who nobody can sway because I did not meet Apostle Johnson Suleman on the pulpit. Or rather, I didn't meet him, let's say I didn't come around in all the glamour. Do you understand? All he did in that house was pray. And all he has contributed to my life is spiritual. As a matter of fact, the strictness with which daddy brought me up, even up to when I got married, there are certain times it still happens to me. There are certain times I want to type some messages to send to him. And I will type it, I'll delete, I'll wipe, like 3 attempts. I say, okay, it's okay like this. Even when I was not married, there are certain times you can send daddy, I don't know, you can send daddy a message and you now put at the end of it, I miss you. He will call you. That miss you is, I don't understand, explain the ending miss you that you wrote. You start telling him, no, that is just, it's been long I saw you. I think it's long I came to the house. So I just wrote it. I'll try that next time. So he is a man of God. He's a true man of God. Like I said, Jesus experienced that too. So I don't care what people say. I lived with him. I'm not talking from somebody I met from a distance. I stayed in his house. I lived with him. I met him at a very tender age. I was still a virgin. He brought me up well. Yes.
So you've known
he's a
him
true man of God.
You've known him for 20 years upwards, isn't it?
Accurately, I don't want to give numbers. 19.
19. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've known him for about 19 years, lived in his
19,
house,
yeah.
helped you out in so many ways. And you also pastors, in the ministry that he started.
Yeah.
Has Apostle Johnson Suleman ever had sex with you?
Oh my God.
Or kissed you or touched you in places where I have to ask you this straight because that is what is out there. This whole conversation is around that.
Stop it. You're sounding as you're saying it, it's itching my ears. It has never happened. It can never happen. I can imagine it. It's like
he has never
your
touched you.
father.
He has never touched you in the wrong place. He has never kissed you. He has never had sexual never.
Never has it happened. Never has it happened.
Not even when you were in a hotel place with your daughter that Mike said your daughter was there in the same bed, in the words of Mike, and he was right there, and you confessed to him later that you had a sexual relationship with him.
Oh God, Solomon, that never happened. It never ever happened. It never ever happened. That's why I can't throw light on something that never existed. You only throw light on things that has a little bit of base. You only throw light on things that, when you say throw light on something, you only throw light on something that has a base. It's baseless. Absolutely baseless. I can't connect it. That's the truth. I can't connect it. Really. He has never slept with me. He has never, what else did you put just now? He has
kissed
never
touch your bum.
Touch your...
No, we have to be serious about these things because that is what is out there. That's the perception that was created.
The reason I'm laughing is because it's funny. You're saying it's itching my ears. It's funny. It's funny. It's really is funny. It's something I should laugh about. People can be serious about it, but it's funny. I know at the beginning I felt pain. Yeah, when I got, the truth of the matter is that when I heard, I only saw the picture he posted, tell Apostle Johnson Suleman to return my wife. And I was like, whoa. Before I had to go listen to what he said. It's funny. Yeah, I was hurt when I heard it. But at some point, I started like, is this guy okay? Or is he on some kind of cider? Or does he have mental issues? Or I don't get it. It has never happened. It has never happened. I was in this man's house. It has never happened. So I don't get it. And that's why I put his words back to him. I answered him in his own words. I would not draw out my own conclusion. I would answer him in his own words. That's the best way to put. I'm not defending myself. I'm only clearing out my own side on the rubbish he said. And I put his words back to him. I was going around a man. Look at it. I was going around a man in a hotel. I was not married. I was doing the logistics. I was a virgin, according to you. You thank God you put that out there. And that's where you didn't lie well. When you're telling lies, you calculate that lie in such a way that there's no loophole. So if I was going to hotels, I was doing logistics, I stayed in his house, I took you to him. Oh, so he didn't do all of that. And the best time was now when I got married and 6 months. Come on. By my calculation, I was even thinking, I gave birth, I was in 200 level, going to 300 level. I was in Epoma. Come to think about it. What is this man talking about? Why not lie? When you want to lie, you calculate, sit down, calculate your life perfectly so that it will fall into place. It doesn't add up. It has never happened. It has never happened. It will never happen, not in this life or the one to come. It will never happen. I know the way that it brought me up. I know the way, how straight he is. I know how street he is around me. I know how street he is. So I don't get what Mike is talking about. I tell you, I don't get what he's talking about. And this is not all about wanting me back. I just feel that Mike is pained. I feel this has to do with ego. It has nothing to do with I want my family back. Mike is not a baby. Mike is not a child. He's an adult.
Why did you stop him from seeing the kids? He hasn't seen the kids for 2 years. Did you stop him from seeing the kids? 3 kids.
Mr.
Every
Suleman.
kid needs a father. Whatever
Mr.
happened between the
Suleman.
father and the mother. And he is claiming you never allowed him to see the kids for 2 years.
Hello. I never stopped him. Can I tell you something? The day he left the house, in fact, the last time we had a conversation was recorded. I recorded Pastor Mike.
So you have a recording of that?
I have a recording when he was stating that I can keep the kids. Mike is not aware of that.
So he relinquished his responsibility as a father.
He told me that he has no money because I told him, okay, we came to a conclusion. We had issues. And so that one person does not kill another. And he told me he's leaving. I'm leaving because something happened, which I don't even want to, if time permits me. Johnson Suleman had please, he should just leave that man out of this whole thing. We had issues, serious issues. Something happened and the center could no longer hold. It fell apart. And so he left. The last conversation was recorded. I did that because I know Mike. I've known Mike for years. Mike, you see, people who have anger issues, they say things and they tend to want to take it back. It not once, not twice. I know Mike. I knew it that this guy will one day say, I packed. I don't know how I knew that. I knew it.
That's what he said. You left. He came home and you're gone.
I knew.
Why,
I can send the recording to you. I didn't leave. He left me. Okay, let me clear this straight.
Yes.
Apostle Sam Ope was the one that actually called me.
The one in Warrington.
No, the one in Lagos that helped me to beg Apostle John. Yeah.
Sam, okay. Yeah, the one that made the video.
Yes. He said to me, and he mentioned it. He said, what's going on between you? I thought I had, helped you settle some issues. And I told him this has nothing to do with whatever you settled. I now asked him, I said, sir, what's the issue? He said, Mike, Mike said he wants to divorce me. He wants to divorce me, that he has begged me. And I say I'm hurt, that please, Joe, you cannot keep saying sorry. I am hurt. I deserve I'm sorry many times because what you did Hi. And so he said he was leaving the marriage. According to the recording, it was recorded. I asked him. He told me, says, so I'm calling you here. We didn't fight. This one is saying I ran. We didn't fight. He said, I think we need a break. This marriage is not working. We need a break. And we are adults. In his words, I will send it to you.
So
We
that
are
was the first
adults.
conversation you had before you separated.
Yes. We are adults. And I don't want some kind of drama. That's what he said to me. And you know, I don't like drama. I don't like drama. I don't like drama. I only do drama when it's like nobody wants to hear me. I don't like drama. He said, I don't like drama. We are adults and all that. So why I called you is because of the kids. You know, long and short, you can keep them. They can be with you. His voice can be heard. Mike does not know. And then I now said to him, I said that please. And I know at the moment that he doesn't have money. And at this time, we're already owing the rent of the house in Kano. It's in fact, it has expired. The rent has expired, and the man who owns the house have been coming series of times to embarrass me. We won't meet him at home. I'll be the one begging and begging and begging and begging. And so when he said that to me, in the recording, he said this was what Mike was doing. You know, the generator is there, the AC is there. You will listen to it, Mr. Suleman. The AC, I'll just go with one of the AC. You can go with the other one. I was looking at this. And see, the reason why I didn't beg him was because I have begged Mike for 10 years. Every little thing, I will kneel down. I kneel down for Mike. I will kneel. I will beg him. I kneel, please. I respect him. I give him water on my knees. People can attest to that. So I was damn tired. I told myself, you won't hurt me this time and push me to the defensive because that's what you always do. This one, I have the right to be hurt. And if you're not ready to see my own side of pain, I will not beg you. I am the one hurt. So when he was talking, I was quiet. And when it was done, I said, okay, I will keep them, no problem. So I got to the office. I had a school, I was running a school. My kids attended my school. I started that school with my boy at Cradle. My kids attended my school. Yes, I was doing well. Financially, let me not go there. I was taking care of myself. Yes, I was taking care of myself. I was doing well. I had a school. I nurtured it. He grew up to SS2. I had one of the let me not say biggest, one of the at least fastest growing school in Sabongeri, Kano. My kids attended my school. Uniforms, everything was from the school. So I got to the office, you know. I had issues with my health that got me to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, because after the first time he called me that he was leaving, that was not the only discussion we had. We had another discussion the next day, and it was recorded as well. He called me and said, now, what I told you yesterday, I'm quoting him so that I don't say something different from what he said. What I told you yesterday that I'm leaving, what I told you yesterday that I'm leaving on Friday, I've changed my mind. I will no longer leave on Friday. I'm leaving on Wednesday. Is it Wednesday or Tuesday? God help me. I don't know if I'm afraid. I'll be leaving. And I'm not leaving without my children. You will hear my voice in the background. I said to him, I was calm. At first, I was calm. I said, why? But we discussed yesterday. You are the one who have where you are going. I was talking on in the recording. I said, you have where you're going. I don't know where you're going. You're the one who have a place you're going. So, I don't have where I'm going. You can't take these kids from me. What have I done to you? What did I ever do to you? That you want to cause me so much pain? Why not? If you want to leave me, why not leave me with dignity? Why not leave me with a little bit of respect? I said to him in that recording, I said, even if you borrowed my womb, Pastor Mike, for 10 years, won't you pay interest? Won't you pay the profit on top? Then you walk out after 10 years, met you a virgin, not like I messed around before you now saw me and you now married me. Then you now, after 10 years, you have where you are working out to. Fine, no problem. You say we should not quarrel. No wahala. But right now, you woke up, I don't know who talks to you, or perhaps maybe you're surprised that yesterday for the first time, this woman didn't kneel down, she didn't cry, she didn't beg. It's like it's the children that I said will stay with her. You know, you now came up and say you're taking them. I now told them, please, if you love these kids, in my words, I said, if you love these children, as you claim, Mike, you will leave them with me. If you love them, you will leave them with me. Because it's easy. You can't take care of them. I stated in the record, I said, like Michelle, she's here to say, see her first period. She will have that period in. You're a man. Last, you will carry them and go and dump in maybe your mom's place. When I'm still alive, what have I done to you? What did I do? Even if you want to punish me, what did I do? Leave them. I'm not denying you access. I said it. I'm not denying you access.
But he said you denied him access. When was the last time he saw the kids?
The last time he saw the kids was the last time he left camp.
From Kano,
fact,
before you moved to Abuja?
The last, yes, that's the last time he saw the kids was that day we had that last discussion.
And he has never tried to see the kids ever since. He has never tried to reach out. You guys are in the same city, right?
God bless you.
You have 3 kids.
Yes.
Whatever happens between the parents, we must allow the kids have access to both the father and the mother. That's my belief.
Mr. Suleman, I never denied this guy. I don't know why he likes. See, when you want to say something, go straight. Think before. I think before I speak. Think before you speak. You cannot be in the same Abuja and you say I deny you access. I have not changed my line since this whole issue. In fact, the line I'm using now is the one I was using for years while we were married. I never changed my line. You are the one, he is the one who has changed lines several times. Because even the day the bride price was to be returned, I remember calling the old one that I had, and it wasn't watchable. I had to call somebody and say, Mike has changed line, and they send me the one he has. He's the one who has changed the lines. I have not changed my line.
Before we even get to the bride price, have the kids been asking about their father? What have you been telling the kids? What have you been telling the kids about their father?
I have. This is it. The very reason I wanted to keep these kids is because I wanted to maintain their sanity. Some of these experiences I had in that house, my kids saw them.
Okay, yes. So they're witnesses to some of the abuse and some of the emotional abuse, physical abuse.
The last one that happened where I went to preach in a program, before I came back, this man, he locked the door. Before then, he said, I went to that program, I will meet my things outside. And I told him, you are a pastor. I didn't go to a nightclub. I went to preach. The handbills are all over the place. If this is why you would throw my things outside, this is not the first time. Please, I didn't go to a nightclub. I went to preach. If you throw my things outside, no problem. By the time I got back to Kano, I met my kids in a member's house, in a member's shop with their few clothes. Because when I was going for that program, my mother-in-law was in the house. My member, she's my sister. I don't want to say my sister in the way we're from the same village. She was in my house before I went to that program. I picked my kids. My kids are not little kids. They can talk. It's not something I put into their head. I picked them from the salon. And my son said to me, he said, immediately I got down from the keke. He ran to me. He said, Mommy, I will never tell you anything again. My heart broke. I said, why? He said, that thing I told you yesterday, you want to tell that. I said, well, how did you know? He said, because he came back home to beat me. My heart broke. And what did I tell you? My little boy came to me and said to me, Mommy, yesterday daddy was shouting on you like this. He was pitying for you. Do you know, as he was saying it, I said, say it again. I prayed, you know, I pressed recorded. I recorded it. Then I sent it to Pastor Mike. I did that because I felt, oh, the love of a father. When you hear your child say that, the way you shouted on mommy, I pitied for you, mommy. Sorry. The father, at least a man's heart will break. Mike went back to beat that boy. Or you think he's a kid? Is he going to lie and say my father beat me when the father didn't do that? When he told me, I will not tell you anything again. I told you something when they tell me, I will not tell you. He came to beat me. And he beat me, said, that's how you talk rubbish. That's how you talk nonsense. My heart broke. I picked my things. I stayed in a member's house for 2 weeks. I called him and I said, please, I'm back from the program. The door is locked. I said I should go back to the program and come. That's even a long story. So the kids were first-hand, they witnessed, they saw some of these things. But in a nutshell, even when the marriage crashed, I tried to maintain. That's why in my first video I mentioned, I'm not going to say some things because of my kids. I love them. I love them so much. And the reason I kept them is because I knew that I can manage talking. Mike cannot manage things he says. You know, he's an impromptu talker. So I didn't want that. I knew, and I told him, I said, let them be with me. I didn't want, oh, this is what's happening now. This is what you see your mommy. I didn't want all of that. I knew I could control that. So they've been with me. I've said nothing to them. Sometimes once or twice, one will just separate. They asked. I said, Daddy traveled. Daddy traveled. But once in a while, they will always ask me, but mommy, why are you crying? Why do you always cry? Sometimes you lock the door, we'll meet you crying. Why are you crying? And the eldest one said, you think I don't know? That day daddy called you in the parlor and told you that I should come and call you. You think I don't know what? Me, I'm not a baby. They know.
Can we... Would you be keen to do a DNA test? Allow your kids to do a DNA test, because Mike is currently not comfortable and would maybe like to contest the fact that he isn't sure he's the father of the 3 kids. Yes or no?
You see another one that he has said now. You see another part he has said, see, I don't have a problem. It's his business. I don't have a problem. As a matter of fact, the DNA is a waste of money. Except maybe he just has money. I don't have a problem. What's my own? When you look at Mike, the 3 children, you don't need DNA. If I could put their pictures here, when you look at them, you don't need DNA. Mike is saying I denied him access. These children have done their birthdays for 2 years. I lived with you and was your wife. You have my account number. What is Mike talking about? He doesn't think he's talking to kids. You have my account number. If you cared about your kids, I'm not saying it's all about the money. If you cared about your kids, oh, I know they've started school. No, I don't want to talk to you, Faith. I don't have problem with you. I don't know. Tell me all the bad things, no problem. But please, it's my kids. Take care of my kids and hope they've started school. Insult me, no problem. Hope they've started school. I just sent you 5,000. Make sure you put them in school. That is how a father behaves. You see, this issue of deny me as I may keep that in. They've done their birthdays for 2 years. Does Mike, has he forgotten his children's birthday? Go to my page. I didn't hide my kids. Some other women will carry those children and hide them. I flaunt my children. My son, I bought my son a drum set. I made sure he learned how to drum at age 7. He's my present drummer in church. He plays for me. I didn't hide my kids. So on air, when each of them are celebrating their birthdays, I do a live video for them. And people wish them happy birthday. Go to Mike's page. Or you not get children. Would you see Mike's child in his Facebook page or celebrate? Okay, even if you forgot, at least you saw my own. You can share. At least you remembered their birthdays. You can celebrate them. Let people know, yeah, I didn't see my kids, but let them know. So what the heck are you talking about? What are you saying? Okay, even if you won't do that, let people on your Facebook know. Oh, today's my daughter's birthday. I remember. Happy birthday, daughter. Say something. You didn't do all of that. Then they deny you access. How? In the same Abuja, I had a shop in Lugbe Market. My shop advert was everywhere. I no hide. My number is still reachable. I no hide. You know the road to my church. He knows the venue. I knows the address. I no hide. And I deny you access. How? I don't get it. You have changed your number many times. So how is the denier? How is that a base? So please, issue. Yeah.
So you're not, I mean, you're keen if he wants a DNA
He
test.
wants to, if he wants his DNA, that's his business. If you look at my kids, look at them, 1, 2, 3. They are carbon copies. In Solomon, if you see them, you don't need DNA. The head, the eye, look the nose, you see the teeth, the fingernails. So, but then it's his business. If I don't know.
And let's establish the fact that the only person you had sexual relationship with is Michael.
Yes, please.
Are we establishing that?
I'm establishing that.
So everyone is listening. Yes. Okay. All through your life, you'd had a sexual relationship with one person.
Your husband. My first love. Yes. And that was after we got married.
Exactly. Because you got married as a virgin according to you and according to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So now, a lot of people, and even Mike himself, is not comfortable with the fact that when you guys had issues, in a very short space of time, you were given a accommodation in Abuja and a car, allegedly by Johnson Suleman. And today, some people are actually not even comfortable with the fact that you're a pastor in the church.
Yeah.
You know, how does that sit with you? Because what came across it was more like this was a reward for your being a mistress, like I always put it out there, because what came out is a mistress in quote. You know, so let's put it in quote. Is for being a mistress to Johnson Suleman. So this is like a reward for you. Is that it? How did you come to a place where you reconnected and then you were pastoring and you sort of like, okay, what was the transition for you, even from when people are married and they get divorced or separated? There's a lot of spiritual burden, spiritual weaknesses. There's a lot of emotional baggage to it.
Absolutely.
What sort of transition? How did you transit from that state to a state where you were okay to minister to others? Because there's no way you can minister to others if you yourself, at least, you are not sort of like okay.
Yeah, you're not healed. Yes, I get you. I understand. Now, this is it. Like I said, I did my first video. I said at some point I got depressed. I got so depressed. Go to my videos, my Facebook page. I talk a lot about depression. I got depressed. At some point, it became suicidal. But like I said, I started preaching when I was 13. Ministry is my life. Yeah, ministry is my life. My life is ministry. It took me a lot of time. Even before this whole thing came out. You think I don't, do you think I don't have, sometimes I feel, oh my God, can I do this? It took me a whole lot of time. It took me a whole lot of time. But at some point, Mr. Solomon, I said to myself, the 4 leprous men in the Bible, they said, if we stay here, we die. If we go forward, we die. We choose to move. I said to myself, yeah, it has failed. It has crashed. But I can't die here. I can't die here. I started preaching at 13. I know I'm called. I want to work for God. I want to serve God. I can't end my life because of this. Yeah, people will talk. People at some point they'll say, are you preaching and where's your husband? I thought of all of that. But I told myself when I get to that bridge, I will cross it. But this is my life. There's no other thing I would do that I would feel. This is ministry is me. I'm called. I had to pick it up. It wasn't easy. It was not easy, but I had to pick it up. And I told myself that I know I'm going to face challenges. It's normal. And for the fact that I'm a woman, but no matter what it is, I will push it through. I will push it through. I will pick back the pieces. I started preaching before I met you. Mike, before we got married, I run the fellowship. I need to go back to where I left some of those things. So it took a whole while, sir. It was not, now we've been separated for 2 years. When did this church start? It started in December. This church is just 7 weeks. 7 weeks old. It's just 7 weeks old. So it's not as though, oh, you got out. They now took it. See, I don't, please, sometimes when I listen to these things, I get upset. This church is just 7 weeks old. It took a lot of energy to get up. I know I hit the bottom. But then at some point, if I'm just starting ministry, or it's now, after the marriage, and I said, okay, it's like I want to now serve God. No, I started ministry as a single teenager. I had to go back to what I have left. With or without the marriage breakdown. Yeah, he has taken his diary. It was at that point. When he took his diary, I said to myself, you don't collect him money. You can't die of depression. You want to kill yourself? The day I attempted suicide, it was my little son. Locked myself in the room. I was fed up with life. Where do I go from here? How do I get up? What do I preach? Will people not say this? All these things happening right now was my fear. And Job said that thing I feared the most has come upon me. And that's why I'm strong. I told you before we started this video, I'm strong for my kids. You know, I looked at it and I said, I need to get up. I bought the sniper. If you ask my kids today, they only knew there was a sniper in the house. And they thought I bought it for rat and all of that. I bought it. I was writing. Do you know what stopped me? My last boy, my last child, banged the door. I said, who is that? After some bangings. He said, it's me. I don't want to call his name. I said, what is it? He said, Mommy, come out now. We are lonely. That voice echoed. We are lonely, lonely, lonely. I started to think, wait a minute. Just locking myself in the room, they're lonely. And as I came out, with tears in my eyes, at that point I said to myself, I will get out of it. So when Mike took his diary, I sat down again and said, what? I stay here, I die. I go forward. Last, ministry is me. I must preach this gospel. I was called. I knew that from the age of 10, I knew I was called. The circumstances surrounding my birth shows it. Ask my mom. The circumstances surrounding my birth shows it. This is an inborn thing. I must preach. There's nothing. See, you know, get how I go be. I must preach. I had to get up. With or without the talks of people. I thought about it. But I said, anyhow. The leper said, if we stay here, we die. If we go forward, we die. Anyhow, it will still happen. People will still talk. But at the end of the day, people who really understand you, who have known you from your secondary school days, who have known you from the beginning, no, she's always preached. Everybody cannot just be against you, sir. And so I had to come up. It took courage, and I'm happy I did that. It was just 7 weeks ago the church was open. And that was even after a lot of beg. Yes, so I had to go back. I don't want to go to that part, how I ended up going back to daddy and all of that. But at some point, I remember I said to him, I said, Daddy, please, I want to start fellowship in my house. I want to be doing this house fellowship in my house. He now said I should go on. He referred me, excuse me, to the state pastor here. And that one said they would think about it. This marriage crashed 2 years ago. It was last 7 December that the church was opened. In the midst of that, when the bride price was returned, I had to reach out to Mama. Fortunately, Reverend Dr. Lizzie Johnson Suleman, the last women convention, against all odds. You think I was not traumatized? Sometimes when I pick the microphone before I want to go and preach, something tells me, what do you want to really tell these people now? This breakdown wasn't your fault, but what do you want to say? Are they not going to question? But something somehow.
Is it a breakdown?
Go ahead.
Are you still married or not?
I'm not married. I'm not married. We do
because
church
you have a legal document from like the courts, from what he said, that you
go to
registered.
Registry.
You registered officially.
We didn't sign.
But he claims that he has a certificate. He claims
maybe
that
he has an explanation.
He collected his bride price, his dowry, here in South Africa and Southern Africa. We call it lobola. He collected his lobola. Lobola, yes, that's what we call bride price.
Wow.
So, and traditionally, or in a customary marriage, obviously, that means the marriage ceases. But the implication is him saying, no, there is another registration that we did. It seems like you had no knowledge of that.
Mr. Suleman, the traditions, I believe, even in the scripture, sorry, excuse me, even in the scripture, even when you go to church, before they wed you, they will ask you, who giveth this woman?
Your family member.
They will ask you. The family member has to come. And then we ask them, has he done the traditional rites? Has he paid? The certificates that he's talking about is the one the church gave. And I don't know, I'm careful, but there's a part of me that feels that he had all this all planned out from the beginning, because I don't know, but I want to believe that. Because coming to put 1 and 2 together, once in a while I think, how can this man, after wedding, 2 copies of certificates? Was I stupid? 1 year into the marriage, he came and said he wants to do visa. Later, he said the certificate is missing. After he came and said he wants the original, he took it. And after he said he's missing, after he came again and said, tell your mom to go to the church and give you their copy. I have my own thoughts. And then the church refused. So I'm beginning to feel that what he's talking about, is the certificate from the church. Yes. And what he has is a photo.
The certificate from the church. Okay, over here in South Africa, and also I think in a lot of other countries, but I'm not sure it happens in Nigeria, where when you get a certificate from the church, that would also be attached with like an official registration with the government, just so the government would know that your marriage is registered. So that makes it some sort of legal from a constitutional perspective.
Really?
But in your case, was it just the usual church certificate, which for me, it has jurisdiction only amongst the church, not outside of the church.
And before they wed you, they ask you, your father has to come. So if you went to my people and took back your dowry, it was handed over to you. Mr. Solomon, not this year, last year.
Traditionally, when you go and take back your dowry,
it back.
There's a comment here from Destiny Favor say, if a man collects a dowry, the marriage is over.
You have taken back your dowry. It is not last month, though. It's not last 2 months, though. This is
taking collection of dowry, and I'm giving you your daughter.
They've given you. I've taken my dowry, take your daughter, and not do again. Period. Then you come on air and tell people that I am still your wife. You are indirectly telling my people to hell with all of you, all the Adekos family. People don't know what you are doing. Whether you like, give me dowry, or you like, don't give me dowry. Your daughter must be is my wife by fire by force. Is that how things are done? That's what you're invariably telling them. So he has taken his dowry.
Mike is saying he has a certificate. So we're going to see how what certificate that is, that registration
is
certificate.
The church certificate, and that's the photocopy he took He actually wanted to take the last. See, he took the first one, he took the second one, he attempted to take the last one from the church, the only copy. So he was given the photocopy. So I think what he has is a photocopy of the church um, um, marriage, the one that was handed over. The photocopy, the one remaining with the church, they photocopied it for him since he said he has misplaced the other two. So they had
Yes.
to give him and they told him they can't tear their own and give to him. They can't do that. They have, if he has anything he wants to do, he should come and photocopy. So I think it's the church certificate he has. Traditionally, I am not your wife. Yes, traditionally, according to the laws and
Yeah,
traditions of the land.
the law, the constitution of Nigeria recognizes traditional marriages.
Yes, I'm not your
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Anyway, let's begin to bring this to a close. Is there any chance of you getting back together?
No. No.
Is there any hope for reconciliation?
No.
Is there any hope for mediation?
No.
Because when you have a fallout
This
and a
no,
separation
this
and
is
a divorce like this, it
this is
breaks
not a
the
this is more than a
individual,
fallout.
it breaks the family, it breaks the kids.
No. See,
They become
can I
victims for what
can
decisions
I
they never made.
can I put this straight? Can I say something closing? I know yeah, divorce has its own ups and downs and bad sides and good sides. And there's a notion that children from broken homes, divorced children, blah, blah, blah. But can I tell you, there are even marriage environments that are not conducive for raising children.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Do you know that?
I'm a big
There,
fan of, if there's excessive abuse, separate. It doesn't mean
there
divorce,
are,
but separate. It's not healthy. You cannot stay in a
yes,
toxic home. Yeah.
yes, it's even worse for them. That's why I started by saying I love my kids. Whatever I stand for, I think about them first. Yes, I think about the first people I think about my kids. So I want to establish that there are environments, in as much as divorce, yes, it has its own bad side. There are environments, let's not forget that it's absolutely not conducive to raise children. They will become toxic. They will become they will, they'll become something else. And see, Mr. Solomon, there is a way I do not want my boys to be. Yes. Apart from that, even if they would have ever been, yes, taking his time. Mike is just pain. For the fact that I'm not suffering. For the fact that I could get up, I'm not suffering. I am moving on, even though pastoring is not easy, but I'm pushing on. I'm strong. Maybe perhaps he's broke right now. He does not have money, and so um, I'm just going forward, and he's just trying to let him leave me out of his mess, please. I consider my kids. There's no room for any form of coming back. Does he want to pay the bride price? Does he want to remarry? Because he has to go. There's no room. Where will Mike start from to start repairing all this damage? You want me back, and you first have to lie. You first have to break me down so that people can come on. This is all about wanting me back. Mike is not a baby. It's not about wanting me back. It's all about destroying me. This is not about wanting me back. Because if it's all about wanting me back, Mike is not a child. He has friends that will advise him. He's a baby. I want my wife back. It's as simple as going to her people. Oh, sorry, myself and my wife had issues. I know I did not come to you people to tell you before I came for my diary. Actually, I was not in my right. I didn't know. Sorry, please. I've spoken to my wife. I will call her. I didn't change my line. I will call her. We're ready to come back. Mike is not a child. If Mike is putting it out there that he wants his family, I am telling you the truth. This is not all about wanting me back. This is all about destruction. This is all about, yeah, let me just destroy her. For the fact that she's getting up, I don't know what his problem is. Yes, this is all about getting me back. Because if you want me back, you won't go to social media. You won't go to You want me back? You won't drag my daughter into leave my kids out of this. You won't drag it. You won't go to them. Well, we are Nigerians there when you took your dowry. What brought about Nigerians? If you wanted your family back, you have goofed. You took your dowry. You go back to our people and tell them that the dowry I took, yeah, I didn't know what can be done. Not social media. So going to social media, first of all, counter the fact that you want your family back. This is all about destruction, and that's the truth. So there's no room at this point. No. At this point, no. It's not all about wanting me back.
So no chance. No chance.
No chance. Absolutely, there's no. It's out of the play. It has gone overboard. It has passed that level of, oh no, think I'm now. How would the settlement be like? How would the marriage be like? Think it. Is Mike not thinking? How would the marriage be like? That's why I said this is not all about wanting me back. This is all about destruction. Is Mike not thinking? How would the marriage be? How will it be? So please, excuse me. There's no room. He has taken his dowry. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, there's no room. He's taking his dowry. This was not done this year. This was done last year. So I don't know what he wants. He has to state what he wants. But for me, I think this is all about destruction.
What's the way forward? How would you want to see your kids? Is the final question now, relating to their father. You cannot continue this way. At least,
Mr. Suleman, I have taken care of these kids for 2 years.
you are their mother. You are their mother.
Yes.
It's not just enough to provide for them.
Yes.
A father
I'm going
is different.
I'm going
a mother
somewhere.
cannot be a father. A father cannot be a mother.
I know there's something I want to say. I've taken care of them. It has not been easy. It has not been easy. And that's why I said that if you love these kids, men have children. If he loved his kids so well and he wanted them, it would have been seen in his actions. Nigerians should ask him. We stayed together. He has my account number. Did you bother whether they attended school? Faith, I don't want to have anything to do with you.
When was the last time he gave you money for the kids? When was the last time he gave you money for the kids?
For the kids? I think if I don't want to add, I want to be accurate with what I'm saying. I think it is even before the marriage got broken.
The last time he gave you money for school fees, for
my children attended my school. I told you that just now.
Yes, you did.
They attended my school till we left. It was when we left Kano. I shut down the school. I ran that school till the very time. And I shut it down. I sold my properties. I had a school bus. I made money. I sold my properties. I sold the chairs, some of all those other things. So they attended my school. For clothes, I buy their clothes. Mike doesn't give me nothing. I'm saying this. He gives me nothing. He makes money.
Is it because he doesn't have?
He doesn't have. Mike often travels abroad. He goes to US, he ministers. There was a day Mike stood in church and he was raising a seed. He was raising seed. This normal, come and raise seed. Come and raise an altar. And he mentioned, he said, last year I came in from US. Members were in church. This thing I'm saying is not something I'm just slapping. I came in from US and I came in with 16 million. My ear do bagam. Yeah.
Oh, you have to explain that bagam to South Africa.
You went.
That one is too deep.
My ear vibrated. Oh, that money was too huge. Yeah, I almost fainted. I had to be from where I was sitting down. I was thinking, 16 million. Maybe let me wait. When we got home, middle of the night, I couldn't sleep. I tapped him. I said, wake up, please. Oh, I want to speak to you. That thing you said on the altar, was it to coerce work on their mind so that they will drop money, or was it really? You made go? I don't know. You said you came in with 60 million. Where is the money? He said, no, actually, it's not 16, it's actually 10. I said, okay, we arrived somewhere. The 10 million, where is it? I will be here. My school is a rented apartment.
And just to let people like around South Africa know, 16 million is almost like what, R500,000. Yeah,
okay,
that kind of thing. So 15 million, if 16 million is almost R500,000, 500,000 rand. Yes, continue.
Yeah, so he said it's 10 million. I said, okay, even if it's 5, where's the money? Because sometimes I won't have rent. He won't give me money. Up to the fixing of my hair, my taking care of myself. I take care of myself. Because I was running a school. School business is a very lucrative one. Yes, I had it up to SS2. I had plenty of children, school children. I was taking care of my children. But now, this is it. He never gives me money. Like, Mike has never given me 100,000 naira. Like, take for yourself. But then I wouldn't say, because we have issues, I'm going to take out his good part. One thing that never lacked in my house was food. Yes, was food. Every week he will give me money for market. When I write the list, he will give me money for market. But that is to go to market. He doesn't give me money for myself. I buy the children's clothes. I buy oh my god. I don't have water. I buy the children's clothes. Then they attended my school uniform. Of course, books. I asked him, I said, where's the 10 million? Even when I was buying my school bus, where is the 10 million? He said he bought a land. It's so place. I said, okay. He bought another land. And then the remaining one, that's what he has been using to run the house. And I said, wait, to run the house, as in run the house. I know you provide food, okay, fuel for Jane. What do you mean run the house and 10 million will finish? And I remember that night I said to him, when we go to church, they tell us pray for our husbands. When God blesses them, he has blessed you. I pray for you. I pray for you. Even when we were courting before we got married, at some point I had given my school fees to you. I almost didn't write my exams. Does it mean now that you made this kind of money, Mike? Not even 500,000. What am I saying? 200,000. My wife, you stood by me. Take. So if I'm going to answer your last question, I'm going to say that the last time he gave me money, I don't know whether to say in the marriage, because give me money for the kids as in how, go and buy them clothes. It has never happened. But he provides food, like go to market, buy foodstuffs. You understand? So even after the breakdown, in the recording, he stated it that he doesn't have money. Because after the ministry drove him, he was no more working, there was no money. I knew all of that. The rent has expired. So we had issues with money, and he said it in the recording that I know he does not have. When I told him that if the kids are with me, Chibi can be supporting, he said, I know he does not have. So if before now you have not sent money, Mike has money now, or maybe he's broke or something, I don't know. If for 2 years you've not, even if you know gets 5,000 naira, you love. There's a heart to this thing. This thing is not just talking. There's an attitude to it. 5,000. Oh, Faith, I don't care how you do. I'm not bothered. I don't want to talk to you. But please, I'm concerned with my kids. And I know that today is her birthday. Buy her a beautiful cake and tell her Daddy loves you. I just transferred 5,000 to you. I just transferred 2,000 to your account, or 1,000. Has he done that? He has not.
Well, we would have to follow that up with him and make sure that he does his best, even with the little that he has. But I want to thank you, Sister Faith, for reaching out and opening up.
Thank you.
And I'm sure a lot of people have heard your side of the story now. And after listening to you and your story, I will have to call Mike, your ex-husband.
Yeah.
From your story.
Yes.
From his story, is still no, I'm the husband. But from your story, the conclusion that you've arrived at is different from his. Though as Christians, we always desire that marriage should always be honorable to God.
That's true.
But we're humans, we face challenges. That's a reality of it. We're different. The husband is different. The wife is different. And there needs to be some sort of agreement. And the agreement would always have to be Christ in the middle. You know, that's the meeting point. Not the husband and the wife meeting face to face. No, we meet Christ in the middle. That way we're not going to be able to disregard and dishonor God in our marriages. But a lot has happened. And I want to commend you for your braveness. Commend you for taking responsibility in a lot of ways. And I know you've made mistakes in this marriage. You've made mistakes in this ministry. And we take responsibility and say, how do we learn? Our desire, and I think not just my desire, but a lot of desires for a lot of people, is to say, look, is there a chance that you guys could get back and say, okay, let's talk? Is there a chance to reconcile, you know? And people like Darlington, Pastor Darlington, they reached out to me also. Yeah. You know, I know people who are like, hey, you know, I love this couple. I love them individually. And the desire is to see them back together. Though this whole thing has been blown up, you know, and we're not here to, I don't do this because we're trying to say, okay, this person is right, this person is wrong. And then you put them there. No, it's for us to see what went wrong where, but at the same time, is there a chance?
Yeah.
At least, even for the sake of the children, there needs to be some sort of sanity. You have 3 wonderful kids.
Wonderful kids.
You know, and every child deserves a mother and a father as long as they are alive. All these absence see that. In South Africa, we see that quite a lot. I mean, it's not as much as that in Nigeria, but here, when you see women raising kids and the fathers are just nowhere, they're gone.
Oh my God.
They're living their lives somewhere like they never had kids. They don't care. And they're still claiming to be, some of them, Christians.
Oh my God.
And you see where the problem is. So we have to build society. And for us to build society, we have to build families. Because families build society. No, not buildings. Buildings don't build society. Cars don't build society. It's people that build society. But healthy people build a healthy society. And if we're not healthy, and it seems like Mike is going through his own challenges too. There are stuff that Mike told me, and I would want him to say that himself. I hadn't said anything about it yet, you know. Some of the challenges, some of the stuff you've mentioned. And when you mentioned it, I could relate to it. But Mike is not the enemy. You are not the enemy. We have to be careful that there's no hate. Because you see, if there's hate between the two of you, you see all these thousands of people that are watching, that are going to watch later, there's going to be hate between them, because I want to be in Sister Faith camp. I want to be in Mike's camp.
That's correct. And
that's what Paul said. No, you can't say, no, you belong to Timothy or you belong. No.
Yeah.
So we have to get to a place where we ask ourselves, what is the most important thing? Even if we're not going to get things back to the way it used to be, what can we do? But again, I thank you and I appreciate you, for doing that. I know it takes a lot. Let me just even say it. It takes a lot to be a woman in Nigeria.
You hit the nail. You hit the nail, man. Let me just put it that way. You hit the nail, man.
It takes a lot to be. I am Nigerian. I know that.
A whole lot.
You know, I know it takes a lot, not just in Nigeria, some other African countries. In South Africa, it's a whole lot different, because obviously the constitution and just the awareness and all that. Women have far more rights here, I think, than any other African country that I know of.
I need to relocate then.
But we need to put the scriptures and the Bible ahead of us before any other thing.
Okay.
And I hope that we can continue this conversation behind the scene.
Of course.
With you and Mike and people like Darlington and other leaders and pastors who would say, look, hey, let's pull this thing away from the public platform. Let's talk about this, because there are a lot of factors involved. Children, there are there's even the church in itself involved.
Yes.
Sometimes we have to do this and talk about this publicly, just so maybe we can go back to our senses and then say, oh, let's take a few steps backwards and try to reevaluate again. But I want to thank you again. I appreciate you.
Thank you too.
And, really thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for watching tonight. I want to thank you guys. You know, I've been talking to her for like 2 hours. You know, I don't do this quite often.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
It's 2 hours. So I don't do that quite often, you know, but it's just the urgency of also the importance of really getting to hear this side of the story, you know, and to understand. So first, let's continue to pray for them. And secondly, if there's any way we can support, we can make sure that there's some sort of sanity that would be, I mean, I know there's going to be a lot of leaders watching. Somebody actually just wrote a comment here that Daddy Freeze is watching also, you know.
Wow.
And I could see a lot of pastors, you know. I see pastors in Nigerian, in Paris, in France, you know, and a whole lot of leaders that are watching. Let's do what is right. I focus this interview on Faith and Mike, and not to even bring anything that has to do with Apostle Suleman, whatever, but just his role, according to allegations from Mike, in this our relationship. Try to focus on that, because that's what we need to talk about. So there's no way bringing clutters and distractions from, and that will be for another day. But thank you again. Thank you guys, everyone, for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's shared with people so people can watch it, so people can hear her side of the story. Tag people, share it as much as possible. I know a lot of YouTubers that come to me and say, look, Solomon, can I take this and just, you know, use this, just put it on my own YouTube channel? Please do that as much as possible. Let's put it out there. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Solomon's Temple, and also my Facebook page here. But God bless you, everyone. May God keep us. May God continue to help us to keep the truth right in front of our eyes. Just so when we had the option of going away and doing something that is not biblical and truthful, we would see the truth in front of our eye and we keep it there. And Faith, we pray over you. We pray over your family, especially your 3 children. May the absence of their dad, may it not disable them in any way, emotionally, spiritually, or socially, in the name of Jesus. May the Spirit of God, which is the Spirit of reconciliation, bring a sense of reconciliation, at least where you are communicating via phone with the father of your kids, where he's meeting them to pick them for a day to go and play with them, pick them from school. May the Spirit of truth mute every spirit that is not of truth concerning this issue in the name of Jesus. We thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, sister.
Thank
God
you.
bless you. Yeah,
and you
and thank
too.
you, everyone. Have a wonderful,
Thank you.
wonderful evening, and God bless.
All right. God bless you too.